On the show now is Travis Demko, who will be fighting next at Combat FC 3 on February the 10th when he meets Josh Krejci. Travis, how are you?
I'm doing good. How about you, sir?
I'm doing fantastic. February 10th is almost here. It's right around the corner. So just tell me how
20
camp's
days.
been thus far. How you feeling?
Yeah, it's gone awesome, man. Been training my ass off, doing 2 days every day, working everything. So I'm ready for anything. You know what I mean?
You still at Lausanne MMA?
Um, I'm pretty much a gypsy, man. I go from gym to gym to gym. I do Lausanne's of Sparns on Saturdays. But I train at 617 Jiu Jitsu a lot up in Somerville. I'm over at Tom Egan's MMA a couple days a week. With my boxing coach, with him a day or two a week. So I'm everywhere, man.
Do you have any, I guess, main training partners that you've been kind of focusing on working with this camp to get you ready for Josh?
Um, not in particular, man. I just, you know, what I mean, I'm just working on my craft, getting better at everything. I'm not really worried about what he's gonna do. I'm just worried about being the best martial artist I can be. So I'll be ready for anything.
Now, it has been 1 year since your last MMA fight. That was at CES 66. It was a round one RNC win. Is there a reason that you haven't fought in MMA since then, or can you elaborate
Yes.
on that?
I had an ongoing knee problem, and then I popped my knee out probably a week before the fight, and I didn't know how severe it was, but I actually blew out my whole knee. So I took that fight with a blown out knee, fought that fight, and then I went to the doctor about a week after, and he said that I had to get surgery, and it was about a 6 to 7 month recovery, and that's why I was out for that amount of time.
Wow, geez, that must have been. I mean, what does that say about your heart to be able to go in there with such a compromised knee and get a win at CES 66? Did you learn a little bit more about yourself as a fighter?
Um, Yeah, I mean, it was the first time I was ever in a situation where I went into a fight going, "Wow, I if this thing pops out, something could severely go wrong." You know what I mean? So I mean, it was definitely nerve wracking. I can say that. I don't know if I learned much, but it was severely nerve wracking to me.
Okay, well, fair enough. Tell me a little bit about just the dynamic for, what you do for work versus training. Do you train full time? Tell me a little bit about your day to day.
Yeah, I work for a company called Riley Brothers. It's a underground utility company, and we put in electrical pipe. So it's a pretty demanding job. Luckily, I was asking to get laid off, so I've been pretty much laid off going into this camp. So I've been able to train twice a day, which is awesome. But yeah, that's what I do day to day when I'm not training.
Okay, so it sounds like when you are working, that balance has got to be pretty challenging. Sounds like a demanding job.
Yeah, I mean, I usually wake up in the morning around 4:35 and get my road work in before I go to work. Then I go to work all day, and then I'll get my session in at night when I'm working.
Wow, that's dedication right there, my man. And when I'm looking at your boxing versus MMA records, they're pretty darn good. Boxing, you're 8-1 as a professional. MMA, you're 2-0. Do you like one discipline better than the other? Do you feel like you're going to keep pursuing both, or maybe focus more on one or the other?
No, I'm definitely going to be pursuing MMA. I want to take MMA to the next level. Boxing was something that I started to get my hands better when I was around. I mean, I always did boxing, but I started getting around serious around 15 and 16 years old, and I had close to about 50 amateur fights in boxing, and then I had my 8-1 professional record. So I really fell in love with the sport, but my main goal was always to get back to MMA, and I think after a while, I was like, all right, I want to get back to what my plan was originally.
So, how do you feel like are you at where you want to be at this point right now in your career? Like, do you wish you were further along? Or are you happy with where you're at?
I am where I am. You know, what I mean, I'm not going to look back to the future or the past and think about ifs and buts. I am where I am, and I'm just happy I'm healthy right now, and I feel really good. You know what I mean? So that's how I take that.
No, will this fight be at 145?
140. I'm trying to make my descent down to 135. So I asked for a catch weight for this fight. And so I'm going to see how getting down to 140 feels. I'm actually really good on weight right now. So I think it's going to be a pretty easy cut. So I think 135 is going to be my new home.
What do you typically walk around at?
I started the cut at probably close to 190, but that was after knee surgery. But yeah, I walk around. I'm not a small guy. We'll probably walk around at 170, 175.
Okay, man. It amazes me the discipline it takes for a lot of fighters to cut as much weight as they do to get down to these smaller weight classes. Do you feel like you're a very large like bantamweight? If bantamweight's where you want to be, do you feel like you're just going to be one of the bigger guys out there in the weight class?
I do think that I'll be a bigger 35. I think at 45, I was a middle of the road 45. I think at 35, I think locally at 35, I'm really big, and locally at 45, I think I wasn't a small 45, but and I just feel more comfortable getting down to 35. I think that I'll be able to do more damage at 35. Not saying I wouldn't be able to do it at 45, but I'm looking at the future. If I can get to the next level, I mean, might as well try to make the descent now and see how it feels before. Like, what if I'll call to the big show and go 135 right there, and then it's just I'd rather see how it feels now. And like I said, I don't know. I'm gonna go to 140, and then I'm gonna go 135. Maybe it won't even feel good for me. So this is just new waters for me. I haven't fought at 140 since 18 years old. So
Okay, well, sounds like things are going well for you thus far, and looking forward to this upcoming fight. Again, Combat FC 3. It's going to be February 10th in Wilmington, Mass, at the Shriners Auditorium. Are you going to have a lot of fans in attendance for support come fight night? What is the tickets sold looking like?
oh yeah, it's gonna be. I'm gonna have a lot of. You're gonna hear a lot of Demko fans out there. I'm gonna sell the place out for sure.
How excited are you to fight for Combat FC? I mean, it's a big promotion. We know Joe Cav from back in the day, and now this is on UFC Fight Pass. I mean, this is a pretty big deal. How excited are you?
I'm super excited, man. I mean, he reached out to me a couple fights back, or maybe the last fight, and I was having my knee surgery, but he kept in contact with me, and you know, he called me for this one, and we got the fight, and I signed the contract pretty much friggin' couple days after. It was kind of boom, boom, boom. I was really, really happy with how fast and how easy things went working with him. So yeah, I'm super excited to fight for Combat FC, and I just the dealings that I've had with the matchmaker and Joe Cab has just been really easy to work with. So yeah, I'm excited to fight for them.
And your opponent, Josh Krejci, he's 1-2. Most recently, he lost to Jake Pila at Combat FC 2, and I was lucky enough to be in attendance there for that fight night. And the amount of fans that Jake had going in there, it was just amazing. So Josh was walking into enemy territory, so to speak. What do you think about him as a fighter? How do you see this fight actually playing out?
I watched some film on him the other day while I was doing laundry, and I mean, the kid's a tough kid. He's a tough guy. He comes out, he's ready to fight. So I'm not taking anything away from him, and we'll see what happens. I mean, I'm not gonna come out here and talk trash and talk like this and that. I mean, you're just gonna have to wait and see.
Do you feel like you're going to be getting him out of there though, or do you feel like this? You said how tough he is. Do you feel like this is a fight that could go the distance and maybe go to the judges?
Well, I'm 2-0 with two first round finishes, so I mean that speaks for itself, and that's what I'll be looking to do for sure.
Okay, very good. Last question for me, Travis. What are the goals for 2023? The new year is upon us. What are you hoping to accomplish in this 2023 year?
Yeah, 2023. I want to get busy. I mean, I've always been sidelined by little injuries over the last couple of years, but I feel extremely healthy going into this fight. I feel like I have a brand new knee, which is making me train to the highest at my capability. And I'd like to get in there at least 4 times this year. You know what I mean? Get really busy, and I think that will only help me moving forward, getting busy this year.
All right, man. Well, I'm excited to see you again with this fight at Combat FC 3, February the 10th. Travis Demko back in action. Before we do sign off, I want to give you the floor. Tell people where they can follow you on social media. And if you have anyone to thank, any sponsors, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I have my sponsors. I'm gonna put them on the back of my T-shirt. I gave a shout out to them on my social media already. I only have one form of social media. That's Instagram. It's Travis Terminator X Demko. That's where you can find me, and that's about it, man. So I'm excited. Thank you for having me on the show, and don't blink come February 10th.